Welcome back to another deep dive into the twisted world of Nevermore Academy. I'm your host, and today we're dissecting every clue, Easter egg, and breadcrumb that Netflix has dropped about Wednesday Season 2. If you thought Season 1 was wild, buckle up, because the theories we're about to explore will make your head spin faster than thing doing jazz hands. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this. Now let's get into the darkness that awaits Wednesday Addams. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or shall I say, the ghost in the quad. Joseph's Crackstone's defeat was almost too easy. Think about it. A centuries old supernatural entity with that much hatred and power taken down by a single psychic blast? Here's what I think really happened. When Wednesday destroyed Crackstone, she didn't just banish him, she absorbed part of his essence. Remember that moment when the psychic energy connected them? That wasn't just a battle, it was a merging of supernatural forces. Evidence for this theory? Look at the final scene where Wednesday is writing her novel. The camera lingers on her as she types, and if you look closely, there's a subtle tremor, almost like something else is fighting for control. Plus, Jenna Ortega herself has hinted in interviews that Wednesday will be dealing with darker forces from within season 2. But here's where it gets really twisted. What if Crackstone's consciousness is still alive, trapped inside Wednesday's mind? Imagine the internal conflict. Wednesday's already dark nature battling against Tertullian zealot who wants to use her powers for his own twisted crusade. This would explain why the show rumors have promised season 2 will explore Wednesday's inner demons. They might be little demons. The implications are terrifying. Crackstone knows everything about Wednesday, her friends, her family, Nevermore's weaknesses. He could be playing the long game, slowly influencing her decisions while she thinks she's in control. This would create the perfect dynamic thriller. The call is coming from inside the house, or in this case, inside Wednesday's own mind. Enid's late blooming wasn't just a cute character quirk, it was a setup for something much bigger. When she finally transformed to save Wednesday, it wasn't natural. It was triggered by extreme emotion and desperation. This suggests her werewolf abilities are tied to her psychological state in ways that other werewolves aren't. Here's my theory. Enid's transformation was part of a community called Alpha Born. These werewolves are born with the potential to become pack leaders, but their powers only manifest under specific emotional triggers. Think about it. Throughout season one, Enid was always the peacemaker, the one trying to keep everyone together. That's classic alpha behavior. And when she finally transformed, she didn't just change into any wolf. She became something powerful enough to take down Hyde. That's not normal werewolf strength. Season 2 will likely explore the political implications of this. If Enid is an Alpha born, or other werewolf packs will want to either recruit her or eliminate her because she's a threat. This could bring Wednesday and Enid into conflict with organized supernatural society. Imagine werewolf politics, but with the Addams family twist. But here's the darker possibility. What if Enid's newfound power comes with a price? Alphas born in supernatural lore often struggle with bloodlust and territorial aggression. Sweet, bubbly Enid might just start showing a darker side, creating a tension between her and Wednesday that goes beyond typical roommate drama. Tyler Galfin's story is far from over, and here's why his return could be the most dangerous thing Wednesday has ever faced. Yes, he's locked up, but we've learned that hides can be created through psychological manipulation and trauma. Prison? That's just more trauma. My theory is that Tyler wasn't the first Hyde in his family line. He was part of a generational cycle. Think about it. His mother committed suicide when he was young, right? What if she didn't kill herself? What if she was murdered by someone who knew the Hyde legacy and was trying to prevent Hyde from awakening? Here's where it gets complicated. Sheriff Galpin's behavior throughout season one wasn't just protective father syndrome. It was the behavior of someone who knew exactly what his son was capable of and was desperately trying to prevent it. The sheriff might have been involved in covering up another one of Hyde's incidents over the years. But Tyler's imprisonment creates an even bigger problem. In prison, he'll be exposed to hardened criminals, violent situations, and the kind of psychological pressure that could make his Hyde transformation permanent. What if he escapes not as Tyler, who can be transformed into a Hyde, but as a Hyde who can sometimes appear as Tyler? The really terrifying possibility is that Tyler could start building an army, Hides create other hides under specific circumstances. Tyler, now fully transformed and completely unhinged, loose in the world with the ability to create more monsters like himself. Wednesday stopped one hide, but could she stop a dozen? And here's the personal angle that makes this theory so compelling. Tyler genuinely cared about Wednesday, even while being manipulated. That emotional connection could make him either Wednesday's greatest ally in redemption or her most dangerous enemy if that love turns to obsession and revenge. The Addams family isn't just eccentric, they're guardians of supernatural balance. Wednesday's psychic visions aren't random. They're inherited responsibilities passed through generations of Addams women. But season 2 might reveal that the family duty comes with a terrible cost. Here's my theory. Morticia's time at Nevermore wasn't just about her education. It was about learning to control a power that could destroy the supernatural world if misused. The reason she's so secret about her past isn't shame, it's protection. She's hiding the true extent of what the Addams family is capable of. Wednesday's visions have shown in her past, but what if they start showing her possible futures? And what if those futures reveal that her actions have become consequences that she never imagined? The Addams family might be the supernatural's world equivalent of nuclear weapons, necessary for balance but terrifying in their potential for destruction. This could explain why Morticia was so reluctant to send Wednesday to Nevermore. She knew that being around other supernatural beings would accelerate Wednesday's power development, and now that Wednesday has tasted real power by defeating Crackstone, there might be no way to go back. The family's secrets could also involve other relatives we haven't met yet. What if there are Adam's family members who choose to use their powers for darker purposes? Wednesday might have to face the possibility that her own family tree includes supernatural villains who make Crackstone look like a Sunday school teacher. Nevermore isn't just a school, it's a prison. Think about the architecture, the isolated location, the way students are sorted into groups based on their supernatural abilities. This isn't education, it's containment and monitoring. My theory is that Nevermore was founded not to nurture young supernatural beings, but to identify and control the ones who became threats to normal society. The school's real purpose is to separate the dangerous from the manageable, and Wednesdays just prove she's in the dangerous category. That would explain Principal Weem's behavior throughout season 1. She wasn't trying to maintain order. She was evaluating threats, and when Wednesday proved she could take down a centuries-old supernatural entity, Weems realized the school might not be equipped to contain her. Season 2 could reveal that there are other facilities like Nevermore, and that students who prove too dangerous are transferred to places with stronger containment measures. Wednesday might find herself fighting not just external monsters, but the very institution that's supposed to protect supernatural youth. The Board of Governors, the school's funding sources, the reason why normie authorities tolerate Nevermore's existence. All of this could tie into a larger conspiracy to control supernatural society. And Wednesday, with her new understanding of her own power, might be the key to either maintaining the system or destroying it entirely. Remember the prophecy that was mentioned in season 1? It wasn't fully resolved, which means there's more to come. Prophecies in supernatural fiction rarely refer to single events. They're usually described ongoing balance, cosmic balance that requires constant maintenance. Here's my theory. Wednesday fulfilled part of the prophecy by stopping Crackstone, but that was just the beginning. The prophecy likely describes a series of supernatural crises that Adam's descendant must face. Wednesday didn't complete her destiny, she just unlocked it. This could mean that season 2 will introduce threats that make Crackstone look like child's play. Ancient supernatural entities that have been waiting for the prophecy to begin unfolding. International supernatural organizations that see Wednesday as either a weapon to control or a threat to be eliminated. The prophecy might also explain why Wednesday's powers manifested so strongly at Nevermore. The school itself was built on supernatural nexus points, a place where the barriers between different supernatural realms are thin. Wednesday's presence there might have awakened things that were meant to stay sleeping. But here's the twist that could define season 2. What if the prophecy has multiple fulfillments? What if Wednesday could become the supernatural world's greatest protector or its ultimate destroyer, depending on the choices she makes? This moral ambiguity would be perfect for Wednesday's character and could bring season long tension about whether she's becoming a hero or a villain. Season 1 focused on local threats. the Hyde, Crackstone, Nevermore's immediate dangers, but Wednesday's actions likely attracted attention from much larger supernatural powers. Season 2 could introduce us to supernatural politics on a global scale. Think about it. If outcast communities exist around Nevermore, they could exist everywhere. And if a teenage girl just defeated a centuries old supernatural entity, other supernatural beings are going to want to know how and why. Some will want to recruit her, others will want to eliminate her before she becomes too powerful. We might see supernatural organizations from around the world, vampire councils, werewolf pack, witch covens, all trying to figure out what Wednesday Addams represents and how she fits into their plans. This could force Wednesday to navigate political alliances she never wanted while facing threats she's never imagined. The international supernatural community might also have different rules and moral codes than what we've seen at Nevermore. Wednesday could find herself in situations where her usual direct approach creates diplomatic disasters with far reaching consequences. But this global perspective could also introduce potential allies, other young supernatural beings facing similar challenges, older supernatural entities who respect Wednesday's power, and even reformed enemies who realize they need to help her face bigger threats. So, where does all this leave us for season 2? I predict we'll see Wednesday struggling with internal demons, both metaphorical and possibly literal. Relationships with Enid, her family, and the supernatural community will be tested as the stakes get higher. The show will likely explore themes of power, responsibility, and the price of strength. Tyler will return, but not as the boy Wednesday once knew. The prophecy will continue to show deeper layers, and Wednesday will discover that defeating Crackstone wasn't the end of her story. It was just the prologue to something much bigger and darker. That's our deep dive onto Wednesday season 2 theories. Which theory do you think is most likely? Did we miss any major possibilities? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe for more supernatural analysis. Until next time, stay weird, stay dark, and remember, in the Addams Family universe, normal is the real nightmare.